Hello and welcome to Insights. I'm Ashley Izbicki, and today I'm here with Tom Stillings, a congressional candidate for Michigan's 1st District. Tom, for the viewers who may not know too much about you, give us a little bit of your personal background.
Well, I've lived in Michigan about 40 years, born in Massachusetts, and I've lived in Torch Lake Township. Well, really since I built my house in '86. For a while I had a house downstate as well. But I've voted in the district since '86, so we'll say that's how long I've lived here. I've been fairly quiet as far as politics are concerned. I did one term as a township trustee, and that's about it. And I was very content to just kind of live my life, doing my job. I sell steel for a living, still do. Just before I came into the building today, I was talking to a customer on the phone about some material. So I'm a pretty busy guy, still working for a living, running for Congress. But when you're just a regular citizen and not a real politician, that's what it comes down to.
Okay, and then in terms of transitioning from just a regular citizen to a politician, why now? Why this election term?
Oh boy, because I've got grandchildren. And I look at where this country is going, and it used to be, and now I'm going to sound really old, but I remember when a guy named Everett Dirksen was talking in terms of $1 million, $1 million here, $1 million there. Next thing you're talking real money. Then we went to hundreds of millions and got a little uncomfortable. Then we went to billions and really uncomfortable. Now we're running deficits in the trillions when not too long ago $1 trillion national total debt was incomprehensible. This has got to stop somewhere. I mean, we don't have the money, and we are going to run out of credit, and we're going to be to the point where we can't ever possibly pay it back. And then as a nation, we're just done. We're cooked. We've got to bring this to a screeching halt. And that's why I decided to run. I didn't see anybody else out there who was even talking about it, let alone someone that I would trust to actually go and do it. I believe I have the ideas to get this done. And if we elect enough of the right people to Congress this time around, a big bunch of freshman, fiscally conservative congressmen, that we can get the attention of the leadership and get this thing moving in the right direction.
In terms of your qualifications, why do you feel you are qualified and best for this position?
I've been in business, in the steel business, for over 30 years. Before that, I was in the automotive business. I've been involved in everything from heavy manufacturing to international trade. I've run my own company. I've run other people's companies. I've done it well. And I've made a payroll. And that's real life experience that most people that run for public office never have. These professional politicians, that's all they know is how to run a campaign and get elected. I don't do that part real well, but when I get to Washington, I have definite ideas about cutting the budget, pushing the federal government back into the boundaries that the Constitution envisioned for it, making sure that it only spends money on things that it's empowered to do. All these things have to be done for us to survive financially as a nation. And I've got the backbone to stand up to whoever it might be that I'll have to do battle with. But I think this is the year that a lot of citizen politicians are going to make it through. And I think this is the year that a lot of fiscally responsible people are going to show up in Washington. And if we don't get it done this year, the odds of ever getting it done really diminish.
So why do you think this year is the time that citizens are going to step up and say, I want to take a stand and I want to make a difference?
People like the Tea Party folks. And there's a lot of people that aren't involved with the Tea Party, but they really are Tea Party folks like I was, just deep down inside. They've come awake over the last 2 years, and they're looking around and they're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. And they understand the same things that I understand. I've been talking about the interest on the national debt for a year now, or more than a year, about the idea that, well, what percent of GDP it consumes is irrelevant. Look at the interest you're paying on the national debt. Look at the amount of actual cash flow, the revenue, dollars coming into the federal government. Compare those two numbers. And that's a scary, scary comparison. But that's what you should be looking at. And these politicians are not. Other people are. Just within a couple of days ago, Bernanke came up with the same idea. And he was right. This is what we have to do. This is what's scary. And if we don't stop it now, we're going to be in big trouble. And there's enough people out there that have come to that realization. They hear me say it, and they know that it's true. And they know that I'm the first one that came up with it, that really means it, and that has the intention of showing up and doing something about it. I can get people in Washington to come with me. I know it.
In terms of the kind of big trouble that you mentioned, what kind of trouble do you think that we're heading towards right now?
The inability to pay our bills. We've got all these entitlement programs. You know, Social Security, people paid into it. Medicare, people paid into it. We've got a national defense that we have to run. If we don't have our national defense, everything else is, you know, kind of useless, because you can't defend it, somebody else can come and take it away. So we are going to have an inability to pay our bills, and you just can't run a country that way. We're going to be another Greece or, I don't know, California. They can't pay their bills either. They're handing out IOUs. How would you like it if you were entitled to a federal tax refund and they sent you an IOU? Not a good idea, I don't think. We've got to stop before we get there.
And how do you anticipate being able to stop before we do get there?
We have to stop spending. You know, raising taxes is not the answer. We're being taxed into poverty already. And just like your household budget, you know, I don't know, you get paid every week, every month, whatever. You go home and you say, I've got these number of dollars. How am I going to spend them? That's what the Congress has to do. The Congress has to look at the budget in terms of how much cash flow are we going to generate? How much money is available? Now, prioritize. How are we going to spend it? We have these entitlements that we have to pay for. We've got the number one priority, which is national defense, that we have to pay for. And then everything else is like elective. You know, and all of the above is never, ever the right choice. So we have to, just like you do, well, I'd like to go to the movies every night, but it's not in the budget. Well, there you go.
No movie.
We probably can't go to the movies for a year or two.
Okay. And when we come back on Insights, we'll talk about the Tea Party movement that swept through the nation, including a stop here in Northeast Michigan.